years, critics of the Clintons have raised questions about their foundation and the Clinton Global Initiative, and the basic worry about both of these organizations is they're taking money from foreign governments in exchange for favors done by the U.S. government. And people have alleged that for a long time, but it was only with the release of these WikiLeaks emails this week that some proof emerged.
Yeah, from an independent law firm. They had an independent law firm look into this, Simpson and Thatcher, and they reviewed it, and they found this. Failures by, they're sort of slamming the board of directors here, basically saying they don't even show up for meetings. And they're saying failures by boards of directors in fulfilling their fiduciary responsibilities may arise when a board leaves governing responsibility to a small number of people, some of whom may have conflicts of interest that can mar their judgment. The foundation's outside auditors noted the lack of board meetings and that board minutes are not even signed. This weakness was not corrected even after being noted by the auditors. Now, what I found interesting in this review also is that Chelsea Clinton was concerned about all of this.
And
that's what really stood out to me. She wanted this reviewed and looked into, and there were sort of internal discussions about this spoiled little brat looking into our dealings.
Right, because you basically have Bill and Hillary at the top of this thing. There's no transparency here whatsoever. And we've seen in some of the other emails that Chelsea Clinton is concerned about how all this is being operated, how this might look if her mom decides to run for president.
Exactly.
I mean, she was really aware of this as the daughter.
Hundreds of millions of dollars being exchanged here. The idea that, as you pointed out, we're going to donate, foreign leaders, despots, are going to donate money, and we're going to provide favors in return.
And that was affirmed by this review, which, by the way, just to restate for the third time, was called for by Chelsea Clinton. This is not something the right-wing media made up. This was an independent law firm looking into this, and they go on to say people who are giving money to the Clinton Foundation expect something in return, a quid pro quo, from the U.S. government. Basically, this is an access selling scheme.
Yeah. And it's amazing to read some of the internal emails slamming Hillary Clinton. Basically, you know, like I said, calling her a spoiled brat, telling her she shouldn't really be sniffing her nose in this, just to, like, look elsewhere.
To Chelsea, exactly
Chelsea,
right. Oh, well, all the parasites clinging on to her parents getting rich from their access to the former president were saying, wait a second, Chelsea Clinton should back off here. She's getting in the way of our...
this little spoiled brat that she is. I think if you take a step back, you know, the takeaway here is just the Clintons continuing to scoot the law when other people get punished for doing some of the things that they have done. Also, just how calculated they have been through this whole process. And there was an email exchange with Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, Robbie Mook, talking about the Wall Street speeches that we know that both Hillary and Bill were giving at that time. And here's what he said. He said, if we're announcing on the 12th, the 13th, and he's speaking to a Wall Street bank on the 15th, that is begging for a bad rollout.
So he's talking about Bill Clinton, who's about to give a speech to Morgan Stanley, and he cites polling data from Iowa, a state that they wanted to win. He says, look, people in Iowa are really worried about the influence of Wall Street. Maybe Bill Clinton should, like, forego this one speech.
Right.
Well, guess who wanted him to give the speech? Guess who wanted the money so bad, because they only made $250 million in the last 20 years, so, like, they need the money. Hillary Clinton, John and Robbie. HRC is reiterating her original position. She does not want him to cancel.
So she,
Abedin.
So she does not want him to cancel this speech. And to your point about the polling data out of Iowa, so she's set to announce her candidacy, comes out, and then she's going to be in Iowa. And he says Wall Street ranks among the first for Iowans among the list of institutions that, quote, take advantage of everyday Americans, scoring twice as high as the general election electorate. This is a very big deal in my view. He's telling Hillary Clinton, look, we've got to get Bill to not give this speech. It's not going to resonate well in Iowa because they're going to see him as disconnected.
Yeah, so just all you got to do is pretend you're not in the pocket of big finance just for a little while now. And Hillary Clinton says, no, we want the payday. Now, look, I'm totally for capitalism. I'm totally for making money. Obviously, I'm not against giving speeches. I'm for it. But this is greed. I mean, you're basically pursuing money to your own detriment.